Kanpai! Welcome on to episode 168 of Kanpai Cast, where we're discussing robots, androids, and AI. Oh my.
Oh my.
Before we start, we've got the usual request for you guys out there in YouTube land to like, comment, subscribe, listen to the audio version, go to our Discord, subscribe to Patreon, check out our streaming. You know, I don't stream. These guys do. Nasuth occasionally. Xeno more often. And come on out, click the links. They're all in the description below. Hell,
I just watched a spiffing Brit video about how to break YouTube too. So if you really want to, play the video at 0.5 speed in the background. You know, you can mute the tab. Don't mute the video. Mute the tab, and it increases the watch time dramatically.
Ooh.
Really?
Yes.
That can't possibly.
You can also make a longer video and then trim it down to trim out the parts that where people stop watching, and it increases your watch time.
That's
right.
Awesome. So we can game the system. Now, this is our first Kanpai Cast back after Christmas and just after the New Year. So, Xeno, do you have any plans for the New Year? You doing anything nice?
Yes, and probably playing video games, probably watching anime, probably being a generic weeb, as probably catching up on the anime that I need to for the review that's
next week
impending.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I'll be texting you guys at New Year just to make sure. Nasuth, I'll be ahead of you. But,
yes.
Yeah. Any plans for you?
Not really. No.
Yeah. I'll be FaceTime a couple of people and make sure I see the New Year in with them. But other than that,
my New Year's resolution is to survive.
Yeah, I'm working every day that isn't a bank holiday in the English thing. So New Year's Day is a holiday, but I'll be working every other day. So I just have to survive, as Nasuth says. So today, I think that's all of our housekeeping today. Today we're going into robots, androids, and AI and how anime handles them. So we've got a few shows lined up that actually do deal with AI in some way. And Xeno was very enthusiastic for this one, and he's raising his hand. He's such a good boy.
That's how enthusiastic I am.
Go ahead, take it away, Xeno.
You should just barge in. Don't worry about waiting to be called on. Just speak up.
I
just interrupt.
certainly have not consumed 22 units of alcohol so far today, and with more to come.
I'm just going to point out, right? We have been complimented by our fans who hated the fact that we constantly interrupt each other. I'm not going to start the new year now with just, anyway. But getting back to the topic at hand. So I think this is a really interesting topic to discuss, mostly because of how relevant it is to today's society, with people losing their jobs to AI, claiming they are a developer, artist, musician, insert a guru due to AI, the reliance on...
Duolingo just laid off a bunch of its translators in exchange for using AI as well. So, yeah, it's everywhere.
So it's a really prevalent thing, and certainly on the forefront of a lot of people's minds. And one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to the term artificial intelligence is the misuse of the term, right? So I want to ask the pair of you first, right? Just one example. Right? In anime, what is a good example of AI that you can think of?
Lane.
Right?
Example of
Lane?
Actually, I've got a couple of different ones. There's the one in Yeeture Deco, but they don't really explore that one enough. But it is definitely an actual AI. But Lane is also an AI who she's an emergent AI rather than you know what an emergent property is. Like one droplet of water isn't wet, but once you have enough droplets of water, wet is an emergent property of them. Consciousness is an emergent property of the brain, that sort of thing, you know.
Right.
Sorry, so she's an emergent property.
I would have.
Yeah.
Minor tangent. Now, can you actually make us small? Because I'm trying to get it to happen. It's not happening. Right. Okay then. So, yeah. So you're saying Lane. You're saying what were the words you were using?
Oh, so she's an emergent property of the internet in that world, right? Nobody built her. She just sort of evolved out of the vast network of computers working as neurons in a brain, right?
Right. Right.
The contrast I would use when you said, can I think of a good example, would be Pluto with the AI's design in that. Where they were specifically designed to be artificial intelligences.
So what was the key point of what made them artificial intelligence in Pluto?
Well, in Pluto, it was the fact that they could, regardless of what the creators actually thought, they could not only reason, they could not only evolve. The whole growth of the human nature. They could also feel the darker emotions. They could feel anger. They could feel hate. It wasn't just the limitations they processed them on as things. They could feel to the point where feeling would overcome programming.
Right. Yeah, one of them was even literally a killer of humans, and it was none of them were ever supposed to be able to do that, but somehow that one managed to overcome its limitations and do it.
Yes.
And I think these are really poignant elements to... You have to fix that one, Nasuth. These are really poignant... Armitage III.
Yeah. Okay. Roll credits.
Yep. So, for everyone else's benefit, on screen right now, we got a screenshot of the credits. Which
that is why we don't outsource this to interns as often as we think we should.
Anywho, but the whole point is that, my example here would be VV, where VV puts in so much effort to understand, actually understand what it means to make people happy, right? Through song, specifically, so... She goes dormant for decades trying to just compute this concept and things like this. And I think this is one thing that's really, really important, is the fact that, what does AI really mean in today's society? And I would argue that what is AI is nothing
1,000
but...
monkeys and a million monkeys and a million typewriters trying to make Shakespeare. That's what today's AI is.
Yes.
Well, no. What's the relevance to that? Don't. I think the important side is, right, that when it comes to AI, there is no understanding. In today's AI, there is no understanding.
They're just banging on the keys, and in this case, there's an algorithm that guides which banging on the keys makes it through to the next iteration or whatever, what have you.
There's no comprehension, there is no feeling, there is no desire, there is none of the subjective processes that humans go through. It's all quantitative.
And there's no ability to actually learn either. Even though
I have a really good comparison to this. Current AI is to real AI what current hoverboards are to sci-fi hoverboards.
I think
they called them hoverboards, but they're wheeled boards that do not hover in any way, shape, or form, and they serve the same purpose. They allow the person to progress on just their own momentum. They lean into it, they go through the same motions as a recreational vehicle, but they don't actually hover. So artificial intelligence now is the same way, because there's no actual intelligence to the thing that's doing the processing.
Well, I think
we would call it.
I think a clearer difference is like comparing an abacus to a smartphone. You know?
Very much so.
So
yeah, but those are both still like devices that can't
valid.
I don't know.
Yeah, valid calculation devices for a given value, for a given calculation. However, an abacus cannot visually display anything. It is audibly display anything. So there is a dimensional shift in what a smartphone can do compared to an abacus, even though you can get a calculation on both.
Yeah, and I think another side of it is the fact that even though you have this distinction of, okay, well, a smartphone can do this, but an abacus can't, right? That's fair enough, but both are manually input devices, right?
Yeah,
you have to provide the, I suppose, stimulus to get and encourage an output. Whereas the majority of fictional narratives depicting AI, it's a case of they are so much more autonomous in nature.
Yes,
even if they still have limitations.
The fantastic shift.
Sorry, what was that, Nasuth?
Even if they still have limitations, those limitations are less pronounced or there for specifically for the story, you know, that sort of thing. Like Vivi can't understand anything at first, but eventually she does.
So she's capable of learning to that point. That is the key shift. So no matter how well you make an abacus, it can never display a video.
Yeah.
Right? So in the same way, no matter how smart you make a picture AI, you know, one that creates artwork based on the things it's seen, no matter how smart you make that, it can't create thought.
Well, Xeno literally just posted a video earlier, I think. Wasn't it you?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was me.
Where they're using video generative AI to try and make somebody write "hi" on a chalkboard, and like video generative AI has come a long way, surprisingly, in the last year or so. But this still just like broke the crap out of it. Like people's arms were shifting all over the place, and the word "hi" was written really weirdly, and so it's still a broken mess.
Also, people were inverting, so it's exactly like a scene from Terminator 2 where Robert Patrick's T-1000 just slammed into a wall and then just inverts and now I'm facing away from the wall. It's I don't think they've understood anatomy at this point. But so the whole reason why I wanted to go down this avenue is that even though we are talking about AI, the very important reality is that what we're talking about is fiction, right? It is so far science fiction that,
it's something that actually passes the Turing test, not just tries to approximate the best response that you would expect.
Yeah, and so yeah, this is why this is the very interesting subject to me is just the sheer volume of perception surrounding this. It's so diverse now, and everyone in their careers or life have been touched by some form of AI. I mean, and I hate the fact that
at this point.
Well, I hate the fact in reality there are so many AIs. Like, AI has now become an alternative word for algorithm, right?
Yes. But that's the thing. I fully believe that the A in AI is algorithmic intelligence, not artificial intelligence. You are putting in parameters and it's following those parameters. You're not actually creating something complex enough for real intuitive thought.
But even intelligence is
currently
a misnomer.
Impossible.
It's just algorithms. It's not algorithmic intelligence because there is no intelligence there.
Well,
yes.
I like to refer to what we have today with ChatGPT and DALL-E and all the other bloody models under the sun. I like to refer to them as commercial AI.
But they're not really. They're still
No. It's don't get me wrong. AI is just basically a rubber stamp at this point.
It's a buzzword, yeah.
It is a buzzword. It's like the cloud, right? I live in the world of tech. The word the cloud, or the phrase the cloud, just drives me insane. Right? I want to find whoever it was that actually came up with the term the cloud and stab him repeatedly. Right? Because we have server farms. Why didn't you just call it the farm? Right? Oh, it's because we sent little Timmy's dog to the farm, and it's like, oh, it's just like.
But Xeno, most of our Kanpai Cast work takes place in the cloud. How can you hate it?
I'm sorry. What of any of our stuff lives in the cloud?
Everything on Dropbox.
Yes.
No, because they live on your machine. They operate on your machine.
Yeah, you might as well be the cloud.
They're not referenced on Dropbox.
But they work through Dropbox and Hamachi. Therefore, it is cloud computing.
Okay, Hamachi is a VPN. That's not cloud computing in the slightest.
If I was to click
we're making a cloud.
If I was to click this button right now, okay, DBZ appears on the screen. Nothing of DBZ is stored on my machine. Only the software that clicked that button.
No, but
that's
DBZ
cloud.
appears on Nasuth's machine, and it is stored on his machine.
Yes, but it's a remote machine.
I'm going to point out.
To me.
I'm going to point out. Right, I'm aware that you two are trying to wind me up because I'm the one that built this fucking shit. I'm the one that built this fucking shit. I'm well aware of how it works.
We have created a cloud of 3.
Oh my god.
Yes, we have.
Anyway,
but that's the whole fun of the cloud, as it were, in inverted commas, is because it can be as small as 3 people. It can be as small as 3 computers.
Well,
and that's why people don't understand it. That's why you're right. Stab the person that came up with it, because that is the wrong term for it. It's a network. It just is.
Such a stupid term. Anyway, right. The so we've got into the depth about the what is AI, what is not AI, and
so
I
on topic.
I'd actually like to talk about first of all Terminator Zero. Right.
Go for it.
Okay. Terminator Zero.
Even though ultimately the show was not the best, one thing that it did well was the fact that you had humanity trying to reason with an AI to spare humanity from Skynet's destruction. You know, so Skynet's attack, right? And the way that they approach that is like, it's not treating it like it's code, it's treating it like it's an actual intelligence, trying to reason with it, right? And in all honesty, from my point of view, I think that's the only way we can reasonably reason with an intelligence, like an artificial intelligence to this degree. We can't just, throw in
another line of code and it'll change its mind completely.
Yeah, just install a USB virus into it and it'll just change the data set and it. If
it is actually sentient, then yes, I 100% agree with you. Yeah. That is the only way to not only probably, but also ethically to deal with it.
Yeah, and I think that is one thing that a lot of shows disregard heavily when it comes to AI is the ethics of it, right? It's like, you know, let's look at like any instance of slavery and things like that in terms of a dystopian sci-fi setting with AI. It always ends badly. Just don't do it. You look it up in the dictionary. Slavery equals bad.
Yeah.
You know.
So, do you know the funny thing is, I'm getting a lot of this. Okay, I'm going to link this back to completely non-anime related. It's Warframe. So, can I put some spoilers up there for gentlemen and ladies that haven't played it? One of the things that you do at the end of one of the quests is you choose a name for the Lotus.
I didn't actually try.
Okay. Yes. So you get to the end of one of the quests, and you choose a name for the Lotus, and you can choose between Lotus, Natah, and Margulis. Now, I've had multiple threads on their forums discussing the idea of, are we dead naming this being by calling her the wrong name? I chose this name because
Couldn't we have let her choose it herself?
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yes, we should. And I've had to point out, no, this is an artificial intelligence. This is something that is a sentient being that was artificially created and modified in the most unscrupulous way. Unethical way. Basically, plugging in another personality into this being. So Lotus is Natah, but with the actual living sentient aspects of Margulis programmed into her. The personality traits, these things are there. So when you get to the end of this quest, there are 3 distinct real personalities for this being, real personalities in place, which is Natah, Margulis, and Lotus.
All it really comes down to is what they look like. They all basically act the same.
Yes.
I want to propose.
Before you propose, the argument I've had to come in with is that no, they're all real. They're all living inside this artificial being.
Yes,
that's
but why does the
unique situation? The unique situation is that they're all real. They're not like artificial names. They're not dead names. They're not, other person. They are literal other beings living within them. It's a unique thing that only an artificial sentient being could have. And so all you're doing by choosing a name is picking a consensus, a deciding vote. You're not actually removing the other personalities.
I argue, good sir. I argue you're actually domesticating the person. You are naming them. It's like,
yep.
I mean, in
she
reality,
choice. It's your choice.
Well, no. I mean, for some reason, no. It's not a case of she doesn't get a choice. She's relinquishing the choice to you.
Yeah, she's asking you,
right?
Yes.
And it's a simple case of like, maybe they should turn around and just go like, oh no, actually, I want to be called this now. Like, I mean, okay. So when we are born, right, we have no opportunity to name ourselves unless you're Anas Voldigold.
Correct. Yes. But he already had a name.
So like you have no opportunity to name yourself. So your parents choose a name for you, and you don't really comprehend what it means to have this name until you're much older, like you're a teenager, mid-teens. You comprehend what this name means to you. And a lot of people accept continuing to have their name. But there is an opportunity for you to rename yourself if you wish. I've known plenty of people that have changed their name both legally and...
well, even going by a preferred nickname rather than my name is much longer than my nickname because it's just easier that way.
Yeah, I know. My legal birth name is not my current legal name because my parents changed it only about a month or so after I was born, because the name on my birth certificate was 42 syllables.
Jeez.
So anyway. What's the point of you bringing this up then, Thaylien?
Because
Probably talking about the
you
ethics of
have
it.
to, when you're talking about the ethics of dealing with an artificial intelligence, you have to treat them and any personality they've been given in the first place as a real being. Okay, so for an artificial intelligence to actually have a personality in the first place, it's developed something from nothing. So whatever you've given it that conflicts with that is real to that being. Okay, so in the case of Lotus, you have 3 actual distinct personas that are real to the being, and it's something that only an artificial intelligence can experience. We can't. If with us, it's actually classified as a mental disorder when we experience more than one distinct personality.
I feel like we're way off in the weeds here at this point. I'd like to bring it back to anime.
Yeah.
I feel
in the
that
ethics, you have to, as Xeno said, you have to deal with them as ethically as a person.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I think the important side here is when I'm talking about dealing with them ethically, right? It's deal with them how you want to be dealt with, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be oppressed, then sure, try and oppress an AI. See how well that goes for you.
You are extending the social contract to include not just humans, but anything that is sentient.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And
anything anything that is sufficiently sentient, I should say.
But you can't pose your values on anyone else, right?
Well, I mean, you can to an extent in agreed portions of the social contract. Like, we don't let somebody who murders, we don't just let them get away with that because we can't impose our will on them. You know, we can't impose our ethics on them. No. That is something that we have agreed as a group to impose.
That's all laws are, is an agreement for a social contract, basically.
Yes.
But at the same time, one could argue it the other way around, is you do not have the right to end someone's life. So it's not a case of you do not have the right to murder. It's a case of you do not have the right to... sorry, am I making sense?
You don't have the right to... You don't have the right... It's not... You can't deprive somebody else of their rights just because... Yeah. It's
just
the whole...
Everyone has the right to life.
So, Thaylien, hang on just a second. It's the old saying, my rights end where yours begin. Right. So my right to murder ends where your right to life begins.
Yes. So the phrase that I was raised with was, my responsibilities begin where your rights begin. So my rights, so it is a right. My rights end where your rights begin. My responsibilities begin where your rights begin.
My right to swing my fist ends where your nose begins.
Yes, my responsibility not to hit you begins where your rights to not be hit by people for no reason begins. Yeah,
essentially, yeah.
I think we had it on the screen, and we've talked about like the more meta side of this conversation. I think I'd like to talk about some of the examples within anime, unless you guys.
Yes.
Well, I had one that I wanted to bring up because of the ethics side of things. Unless you have one you want to go to first.
Oh, I really do. I really do.
I want to go after you.
The one that I want to bring up is 86. Right, 86 is a fantastic series, and it's about basically I can never remember the names of the countries, but the way I describe them,
not Russia.
No, it's not Germany and not Russia.
Not Germany and not Russia.
So and that's just because of the comparison with our own world's history and things like this. So not Germany believed in the pure breed of Germans, right? Not German, right? And anyone that was not pure was basically pushed to the outer fringes of Germany in Sector 86, right? Which I can't remember if it was all encircling. I don't think it was. I think it was just east-facing on that niche. But
I think they did that because of the East versus West Germany thing as well.
I don't think so. But the District 86 was basically where a lot of the fighting was happening with Naz is trying to look something up.
I just want to see it myself. I don't, you keep talking.
Right. So District 86 is where like the majority of the fighting is happening. And what the people of Not Germany do is they declassify all the people in District 86 and say that basically they're not human. They have no human rights. They are just glorified computers. Yep. What does that sound like? And as a result, they are well within their right to just basically shove their own citizens in spider tanks and use those spider tanks to fight the actual artificial intelligence of Not Russia. So Not Russia, in an attempt to win the war with Not Germany,
the district on it.
They end up creating this AI, and the AI had a failsafe in it, which was that after 4 years, the drones would just shut down, right? They couldn't live. So when the AI went rogue, they only had to wait 4 years before it all go back to normal. But it's been decades.
Yes.
The war has been going on for much longer than 4 years.
At the end of the first season, we find out why.
Yeah. So it turns out that... Do I want to say? No, I kind of.
You can say.
Okay, fine. So yeah, do you want to slap on the spoilers now?
Hit the spoilers.
There we go.
So this will all be spoilers for 86. Okay.
Yep.
You can skip the next timestamp if you want to.
Yeah.
Or if you're listening, just cover your ears for a minute.
The fundamental thing is that the way that the AI was able to continue to perpetuate was effectively any of the soldiers fighting from District 86 basically were decapitated and had their brains installed in the network that was the AI, right? And as a result,
brains.
Yes. So as a result, it basically replaced its own processors to keep going so that it can continue to fight the war. And how the second core concludes is like, holy shit. Like, I wish that we spent more time with some of the other characters during the course of the second core. The show had serious production issues with the pandemic and everything, but the fact that eventually when they get into Not Germany and they find out that the AI has just won, is just like, oh shit.
And in a situation like that, so we were talking about the ethics of things, right? In a situation like that, how do you deal with an enemy that is clearly intelligent, clearly has some form of sentience, but doesn't care about you ethically, doesn't have any moral consideration for you as a person?
Similar to Skynet, in fact.
So I think what you need to do at that point...
Oh, is it safe to take spoilers off, by the way?
Yes,
take them off.
I think we're done here. So if it was an AI that literally has no compassion, no ethics for you as a human being, similar, in fact, to Skynet, that point, it's a sentient being and it's committing war crimes. So I think we have a clear line of practice for what happens with that.
But it's only committing war crimes by our standard. So this might be cutie.
Which is how we judge sentient beings. No, it's why Saddam Hussein is still executed.
That's how we judge. No. That's how we judge humans.
Yes, but that's the whole point.
Another sentient being may not have the same.
No,
if an alien race
appears,
it's how we judge people. Okay, not human, people.
I think the one thing to highlight here is that with this AI in 86, it can't feel pain or anything like that. Hell, we don't even know what the motivation is for it to do its job in the first place, because it's not only fighting not Germany, it's fighting not Russia as well.
It may not even be a true artificial intelligence. It may be a complicated set of algorithms, which is why it's moved out of control. But it can't learn. It can't really learn per se, but it can adapt.
Well, I think part of the problem here. So this to me is akin to the Borg, right?
Yeah.
So I personally find the Borg like super fascinating, because prior to Star Trek First Contact, there was no concept.
It was
of
truly
a queen.
Decentralized. Yeah,
it was a completely so what does a truly decentralized intelligence or what does that mean, Nasuth?
So it means that its entire it's sort of a call to like real collectivist communism, right? Where each member has a say in what the whole does, but it's and so essentially each drone is a part of the whole, but in a much more literal way than just like they cast a vote. Like they are doing that, but it's happening so quickly and at such a combined level that it seems like it's moving with one voice and one purpose. But it's literally each individual cube is its own collective that is then part of a greater collective, and you can break it off even to even smaller chunks. It's completely decentralized all the way up and down. There is no single processing point. It is a network of processing points. So
a question here is like, what is, because I always found it fascinating with the Borg is, if you have all of these different species, individuals, if you have all these different individuals that are a part of a greater community that they have no choice in, why do they want to constantly expand their community? Why do they constantly want to assimilate? Right?
Because they see it as the perfect form.
So at what point in time is you being part of the collective no longer you? Because, do you not continue to have your own voice?
We don't... See, that's interesting, though, because they sort of explore that with Hugh later on. What happens when you take a drone out of the collective? And then, yes, of course, if you've been in there, the moment you're hooked into it, the moment, like Locutus, the moment you're jacked into it, your brain is no longer just your own. It is part. It's sort of like Odo and the shapeshifters. The drop becomes the ocean, and then the ocean becomes the drop. Right?
Yeah. So here's a thought. The reason it could have to expand is because the more processing points, the more intelligent the whole becomes.
Well, I think
it's not just that.
Going back to 86, so just for everyone's benefit, going back to 86, I think the whole reason why it wants to replace its processors is because of survival. It needs to survive.
It's adapting.
Right? So originally it was not built with the ability to swap its processors. It adapted to have the ability to swap its processors. And I think that ethical level of survival is what has driven this. So the only thing I can think of as a way to broker peace between the AI and humanity in this setting is to find a way to create artificial processors and give it to them so it has no reason to have a war to replace them.
Better analogy is to domesticate this emergent AI. Because if it's purely survival and adaptation, then it's not human level intelligence, it's animal level intelligence, right? At the moment. So it won't progress beyond that until you assure it of survival and nourishment, or whatever it counts as nourishment. And then it becomes more intelligent. In the same way that we do. Until we are given that assurance of our own survival, we operate on a very base level. So we don't truly become
so there's a stage in human development as you're growing up where there's a point where you think. So first off, there's a point where you think everyone knows what you know because you don't understand the theory of the other, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a point where you realize that the other exists, and you'll start lying, and then you have to be told, because now you can, and then you have to be taught not to do that and why that's bad.
Yes. So I pose you a question, okay? If we, as a species, were to go out into the galaxy, right, and we were to find other intelligent life, what sign would you use to verify whether a society has progressed to an actual thinking community? Because this was posed to me for a while back.
In Star Trek, it was always things like the prime numbers, or but that just shows that they can do math, or that they understand
fire, buildings. So
my art probably is art.
I mean, my preference is just like Star Trek, is if they are able to come to you, right?
Yeah,
that's the point in which it's okay to meet them, because it's like.
Yes, no, that wasn't the question so much. Not in terms of meeting them. What would you call a developed society?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So what instead of making contact, think about the times that they've spied on developing societies, right? How do you determine that a society is actually intelligent and therefore worth studying?
Yes. Oh God, it's to be honest, I would argue when it's oh God, I don't know what the age would be called, but it's like when you're doing stuff with metals and things like that. I don't know if it's
Metal Age.
Like the Bronze Age or the Iron Age.
Which came first, the Bronze Age or the Iron Age?
Probably the Iron Age. Because bronze is a mixture of...
Bronze is an alloy. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, but that's copper and tin, though. That might actually be... That might actually be earlier than Iron Age.
But it's still an alloy.
Anyway.
Wait. Did you just say copper and tin are an alloy?
No. Yeah, bronze is an alloy of copper and... I think it's copper and tin. It might be nickel and tin.
Yes. Anyway.
But still, it's I would say whichever metal age it is first. Like when they start manipulating metals, I think that's when it is.
So the earliest sign that I can think of that I was able to divine from the conversation I had was mended bones. Medically mended bones. Because it means the society has progressed to the point where a wounded individual, an individual with a broken leg or a broken arm, is not a hindrance and is not left to die on their own. Right?
They have the ability to conceive of a future point where this person is healthy again.
Yes. Right? And that's what I'm getting at with this AI from 86. It's still in basic survival mode. It's trying to stay alive at the most minimum level. It's not aware of the concept of healing, of getting better, of progressing to a new age until it has enough intelligence to do so. So the only way you could ethically deal with it is
or
as
time
a
to think about
wild
it.
animal.
It may actually have the intelligence to think about it, but not the time to think about it. Like, this is why agriculture was such a revolution, because suddenly it gave us the time to think about things instead of having to always be hunting. We're way off topic at this point. We're discussing deep concepts of
I think this is great, because this is the sort of stuff that is addressed in anime.
So the only way you could deal with the artificial intelligence in 86 is to guarantee it that minimum level of survival, of self-continuation, before you could deal with it as a intelligence. So you have to domesticate it like an animal, and then it becomes a sentient being after that.
That's
savages.
I mean, that's first off, I do not agree with the terminology used here. But regardless, if you're able to broker peace, first off, if you're able to teach it how to feed itself, right?
Without killing other people.
Who's to say that will actually stem the tide of war?
That's true.
Right? I mean, it might just be...
You can't tell until you do. Yeah. Until you guarantee its own survival, it will react to preserve its own survival.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a case of... It tries to use this artificial processor and then realizes, wait a second, this isn't... this is changing me. I don't... I was trying to avoid that, Nasuth. It's not as good as Nasuth blatantly states it.
The fake,
and as a result, it just goes back to war. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's really interesting how we spoke at the beginning when people were talking about actually that would potentially lead me to decadence, but I know Nasuth wants to talk about something.
Yes.
It really leads to the whole the cloud. You're
talking about a slave class. Oh, okay.
No. Because the whole idea is that I think one of the biggest fears that when it comes to AI is as soon as it's out. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, right? It's so it's once the horse is bolted.
A true AI would need to be air gapped at the very least.
Yeah. At the very, very least. Right. So,
for anyone who doesn't know, air gap means that there's no physical connection with any sort of network anywhere ever. It's a literal gap of air.
That's one of the biggest things with Terminator Zero is the fact that Kokoro is air-gapped for the vast majority of the series, because it's we're trying to convince you not to let us all die. We can't put you on the internet until we're sure that you won't let us all die.
Exactly the plot of the second season of the Sarah Connor Chronicles too. It's kind of crazy. Right. So the reason I said the reason I thought you might be talking about a slave class is because we mentioned that earlier, and so that makes me want to talk about Armitage, where literally the androids in this world are a slave class, and they are treated literally as objects. They are treated as things, and the thing is that some of them are. They don't have that level of intelligence, but even a lot of this... So the reason it's called Armitage III is because she's what's known as a third-type android, right? There were first-type androids and second-type androids. First-type androids, really dumb, very basic. You wouldn't even necessarily call them intelligent. They'd be glorified ChatGPT clones, right?
Yes.
But second types were much better, much smarter, much more human-like, and people did that because it made them a better slave. It made them a better tool. And you see this not only with domestic working AIs, but a lot of them were turned into sex workers because if you could,
Humans be horny.
If you could have sex with a robot, you probably would.
Is it called 2B? Because yes.
But as we learn, even a lot of these second type androids are starting to achieve, the longer they're in operation, the more sentience they achieve. There's something like they start out as sort of blank slates, but they do have the ability to absorb and learn. And so if they're left on long enough, they will. And that sort of becomes the whole story is there's like a group that's trying to free them. And by doing the, to do this, you gotta kill the people. And then, of course, there's another group that wants to stop them. It gets a little deeper than that, too, because they're trying... The reason that the third type androids are very special, and I don't really want to get into spoilers for that, but if second type androids are very human-esque in mentally, you can sort of imagine what the evolution of that might be.
Yes.
But it brings up the whole idea of when you treat this, when you create this underclass, this intelligent underclass, and then you treat them as property, eventually you're going to get problems with that. It took the form of terror attacks.
It's funny that because we have exactly seen that process in human history, so we know how that goes. It's anime drawing from real life history to project the same process onto a new wave, as it were.
But I in some ways, I feel like it's a little more forgivable because, we did build the things. It is reasonable to think of them as tools.
Yes.
Nobody expected the second types to gain sentience.
No.
And how do you recognize, like, it comes back to your question earlier about how do you recognize that when it starts to emerge in something that you've created?
Yeah. I mean, especially when they're all sex workers, usually you're supposed to screw the brains out of them, not into them.
I mean, regardless of Thaylien's crass jokes, I think one of the really interesting sides of this is the desire to make... We always want to automate stuff. We always want to make our lives easier. Like, look. I mean, one of the biggest things that we had to do for this show was we had to manually curate all the assets for that anyone
the images
on
and stuff in the
YouTube.
background.
Yeah, like if you're seeing this on YouTube, you would see all the images and everything. We had to manually do this. This would take us hours and hours and hours to do, to the point of we would lose the better part of a day just processing this.
Yeah.
Now,
I experienced that directly, because it's usually Nasuth and Xeno doing that. But I did that for about, 11 shows?
I can't remember exactly.
When I did it a few months ago. And that took me about 5.5 hours.
Yeah, and we get like 21 images per show. So it's like if we usually do the first 3 episodes, and it's 7 pictures for each episode
per episode.
And that takes, especially if they're like 4x3, because then you have to go into another imaging program and crop them down. It took a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Xeno automated it.
Yeah, so I created this little script that if it can find the images, it will...
Now imagine, Xeno, that we fed it enough images that it started being able to think up new images on its own.
No. Imagine if we fed it enough anime that it imagined that it could go and get anime that it thought we might need.
Yeah,
well, I mean, here's the difference. Here's the fundamental difference, right? There's a difference between I made it to do X, and then all of a sudden it started doing X, Y, and Z. I'm like, wait a second, I didn't make you to do that, right? There's clearly something to investigate there, and it's the same with I fucking love Star Trek Next Generation for this because it really did.
The exocomps? You talking about the exocomps?
Yes, I am talking exactly about the exocomps, right? So again, the relevance here is that a doctor created these little drones, these little machines that were to go and actually work in these dangerous environments and things like this. Yes, yeah. And they stopped like after a while they would just shut themselves down. They would and never turn back on. They would kill themselves and things like this. And it wasn't until Data, who is like a pure AI, was able to observe these things, he was able to communicate to the rest of the ship and the mining crew and everything. This is AI. And again, it was hilarious how he was trying to show that this was AI, and his tests would never work and things because the whole point is they wouldn't put themselves in danger.
They were smart enough. Right. They were smart enough to realize it was a test, and it was like, oh,
there is no danger. Therefore, they just did the thing as usual, and that again was just absolutely fantastic. Like it's but again, the whole idea of I build you to do X and then you do Y and Z as well without any changes to your code.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is,
weirdly enough, I think that episode was speaking of androids and AI, and whether they should deserve rights or not, I think that episode was actually better than The Measure of a Man, which is the one where that's the one where Data's on trial for whether he's Starfleet property or a sentient being.
But that was season 2.
Season
that was
1 or 2. Yeah.
No, it was 2. It was 2.
So
do you know what's it's really funny for me is because I literally watched the newest Wallace and Gromit movie, which is called Vengeance Most Foul, and it's literally the case where Wallace designs a gardening robot that is an AI.
Right.
It's a garden gnome that can actually do artificial intelligence to do garden makeovers.
Right.
And it's then used against him. The funniest thing I saw was that when it was hacked to change its personality from good to evil, there were gradations. It built into the personality. So there was good, mostly good, pleasant, cheery, all right, neutral, annoying, all the way down to before it got to evil. There was like 8 levels between good and evil on its programming. And I thought, well, yes, because if you're going to build an AI, you've got to give it actual personalities and then set it to good in the first place if you're going to do that.
I mean, my question is like, how on earth do you why on earth would you make 8 stages? Why would you just hardcode it to good?
Because it was made by a British man. They always have to overcomplicate things.
Mm-hmm. But also, we're realistic and we know that nothing is wholly good.
Anyway, where do we want to take this now?
So, actually, I want to poke at a couple. There's the contrast between Pluto and NieR Automata.
As long as you pronounce it correctly, sure.
How is there?
Yeah, because Pluto, for example, they created AI. They created robots that are fully autonomous artificial intelligence in a world and they were actually created to follow rules and not be full AI. They were created to have
they had at least the Asimov
inhibitions.
Laws. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the Asimov law style of thing, where it's literally a robot may not harm a human being, cause harm to a human by inaction, or end its own life by
Also, the zeroth law, but I can't remember what the zeroth law is off the top of my head.
Zeroth law was developed directly by Asimov after much debate, where
because they found
cause harm to a human if it saves the life of another human.
I'm not sure that's true. I can't remember
the original. I remember the original scenario of it happening was one of his robots threw a blade at a human that chopped off the hand that was holding a gun. Yes. Zero.
Robot must not harm humanity or allow humanity to come to harm through inaction. So that's the 0th law. So what are the other 3?
No, the 0th law is where you can override those.
May not injure human or through inaction allow a human to come to harm. Must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except when the orders would violate the first law. Must protect its own existence as long as it does not conflict with first and second.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So the 0th law allows them to override all 3 of those if it's deemed necessary to preserve the life of another human. So I say the first time it ever happened in the fiction he wrote was a robot threw a blade at a human to damage their hand when they were wielding a gun at another human. Okay, so because they realized that they couldn't deflect the gun in time, so they had damaged the hand instead. Right, so that was the first first use of the 0th law. It was
unwitting. Yeah.
So he knew that there was no way to save the life of the other human by complying with the other 3 laws.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of crazy exceptions that happened.
So
this
is the thing. Stuff. They're hard coded with the Asimov.
Yes. Yeah.
And the thing is, they develop actual emotions beyond that, and there is a actual conspiracy to cover up the fact that they can. The one robot that was known to break that law and murder a human is not only permanently entombed within a facility and permanently air-gapped from the rest of robot kind. The other case where it happened, yes, they are completely disabled and unable to move. There is another case of it, and that's the big mystery of the show, is that another robot actually did. And so the circumstances around that are part of the whole scenario that plays out. So these are the case where they've created actual intelligence and are trying to suppress it. And so that's a conspiracy kind of thing.
I love that they also have. Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead. No.
No. So, but on the other hand, you have NieR Automata, and yes, it's Automata because they don't pronounce. They say Arta, Xeno, in Japanese.
Automata.
Anyway.
So you're going to call it Eureka 7 now?
Yes, why not? So, but no, the thing about NieR is that there is no control. They've created artificial intelligence, and they're relying on the artificial intelligence itself, the other members of the artificial intelligence, to suppress emotion and breaking out of protocol. They enforce protocol on themselves.
Technically speaking, I would say that they're showcasing a different kind of control in the form of propaganda and not brainwashing, but like that sort of regimented thinking that you might see, cultish behavior, ideology. That's a good one.
No, I'm sorry. I'm confused by where you're going with this in your comparison to Pluto.
I'm a little
confused again.
So he's saying in Pluto, they are literally hardwired to have limitations to suppress certain behaviors that they might do, right?
Yeah.
But he's saying the contrast to that is NieR, where they are not hard coded, but they are still enforced to suppress these things. They have to do it themselves, though, and you see this. You see them breaking this all the time.
We don't know that.
Yeah, you do. You see it all the time. We do know that
because we see them breaking it all the time.
We see them like doing stuff. We don't know that they're hard coded not to do this. We have no idea.
No, that's the point. That's the point. The ones in NieR are not hard coded. Hence why they can break it all the time.
No, we don't know that they're not.
They must not be. Yeah. It is apparently they're not because they break it all the time.
Yes, why? They literally say when somebody reacts unconsciously with emotion, they then turn around and say, "We must not act with emotion." They literally do that. That's one of the whole things of
social
2D's personality.
Right. Okay,
rather than
that's
social
hard-coded
reinforcement of an ideal as opposed to hard-coded. Yes,
that's only 2B and 9S, right? That is not seen anywhere else. No one else says this. No one else says this.
Would not say this?
No, the operator, what was it? Operator 21? Like, she gets, like, constantly, like, really flirty all the time and really bubbly and shit like that. The commander is, like... 9S the commander is way up.
No, 9S's operator is the opposite and strictly sticks to protocol and does
they have the same operator.
Emotions. No, they don't.
They both have operator 21.
Nope.
I swear they do. But even so, the commander's a tight ass, right? But at no point in time does she ever tell anyone to get in line and things like that.
The whole contrast is how they're told not to do this, but the robot life forms are doing it. Like that's part of the whole contrast between the two. Yorha being told to suppress it, and the robots are like just expressing.
They're
it.
exploring it, right? Yeah. So I think NieR Automata is a really difficult one to analyze because first off, how do machine life forms, right?
Yeah.
Like the aliens apparently created the machine life forms, and yet the machine life forms are like the most basic bitch robots known to me. They're fucking toys made from what, the 80s? Right?
Seems like they're little wind-up toys.
Yeah, exactly. Little wind-up walker toys.
Efficient.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know,
but not all the machine life forms are that simple, as seen with Adam and Eve.
Right, but Adam and Eve are created through some weird copulation between the machine life forms that we do not comprehend. Fuck knows how that even bloody works, right?
What about Pascal?
But like the fact that the tower exists, you know, later on and stuff, all that stuff had to already be in place for them to use. So not all of the machine stuff is crude.
But the thing is, like, you are talking about, what about Pascal, right?
Yes.
Well, why the hell was Emil's head inside one of them, right? Like, you know, Emil's human, right?
Technically.
So how on earth was he in the machine life form? No one understands that.
No. So here's a
but
thing.
Also,
so
you don't have to. You don't have to. There's one thing that we have not considered at any point in time is, are the machine life forms even programmed in binary? Right? We don't even know that. Right? There could be some complete. We're trying to apply. I want to say domestic logic. We're trying to apply
archaic logic.
No, computer science to something that is akin to an action movie. I'm like, I think we need to separate our disbelief and just go like, nah, fuck it, it's fun.
Xeno, just to confirm, 2B's operator is operator 6-0. She's the bubbly, happy one that wants like pictures of flowers and things. 21-0 is 9S's one, and she is very serious and tells him not to react emotionally. So she is basically on the same thing. She's the harsh, strict one compared to 6-0, who's the bubbly, happy one. And they're
even so, 2B doesn't tell 6-0 to pack it in.
She does.
I don't remember that. Then why didn't she tell her? I'm not looking for a fucking flower. Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, no, that's because it's in the game. So, you know, it's a side quest. But she's... So even then, the whole point is that 2B... The whole point of her 2B's personality is she's trying to conform, but she still feels these things anyway. But consider that. So it's not even that they're actually any different from the ones in Pluto. They have that ability. They have that that ability to feel the emotions, right? The difference is that in Pluto, when it happens, it's suppressed. It's hushed up. A character's memories are literally erased from that time so that they don't repeat it. You know, so they don't remember it, so they can't go forward with it. And they've literally modified the person's brain, but there's no humans to do that in NieR. So they do it socially.
I'm not sure about anything with regards to NieR because again, like, there are so many questions that are left unanswered.
Yeah.
You know, where did the resistance come from, right? If humanity's been living in a server on the moon for the last 5,000 years, where the hell did the resistance come from, right?
Earlier versions.
Earlier versions of what?
Yorha.
Right, because Yorha didn't exist prior to A2.
Or, well, but there were androids before A2. Yorha was just...
Yeah, but we don't know where they came from.
No, but we do know they were made to fight the war against the robots.
So what was that?
We do know androids were made to fight against the robot army created by the aliens.
Well, and some of them may have just been servants as well. Just, you know, they may just have existed before the aliens arrived. You know, it may just have been a better technology that the humans had.
No, we know that that's not true because NieR... Oh, God, is it Gestalt?
Yeah.
Where basically, after the events of Drakengard Zero? Was Drakengard
I think that's
2?
right. It's one of the Dragonguards.
Yeah, it's one of the Dragonguards.
When he gets transported into NieR's
2000, right? In the year 2001 or something like that, when a giant weird alien baby turns up and destroys all of Earth. It's like, okay,
You thought Kojima games were weird. No.
Yeah.
Yokotaro. Anyway.
So trying to apply logic to this is honestly like.
But no, you see where I'm going with the contrast, though, don't you? A society where robots are the minority and their emotions are suppressed on purpose.
I think a better one.
Society by humans versus NieR, where there are no overseers anymore, and they're having to enforce their behavioral processing by societal norms, by protocol.
A part of me feels like that's more of a military thing. But go on.
I think a better one is actually Metallic Rouge, for comparison.
Okay.
Because
no, this is the same. This is the same as Pluto.
No.
Why?
For the vast majority of the population, yes, they are suppressed. But for the Immortal 9, they aren't.
Right.
They're allowed to basically do whatever they want.
Yeah. Go on.
They can kill. They can pursue things like singing. They can Rouge, and there's also a specific push to try and free all the other Neans to have that same thing. So
right,
whereas in this is almost maybe it's both a comparison and a contrast, because in Pluto there's also kind of a push to create the final robot that can do its own thing as well. And in some ways, that's sort of what they're trying to do in this, where they want to free the Neans and start a war. But at the same time, you have the like I said, you have the Immortal 9 who can. You have the girl on screen right now who does so many things that no other robot or no other android seems to be able to do, and there's no attempt to really cover that up either. But there's no attempt to really cover that up either.
Are you kidding? Do we need to hit spoilers?
Maybe?
I think so, because I'm confused.
Right, okay. So we're in spoilers for Metallic Rouge. We're going to talk about spoiler stuff, which is, I think, the last episode or two of Metallic Rouge. So if you don't want to hear spoilers for Metallic Rouge, and people should watch it, it's good. I wish there was more of it, because it was clearly rushed towards the end.
Yeah.
No, I would say it is good, right? It's pretty damn good. I would recommend people to watch it, but it feels rushed towards the end. But the whole point is, Nasuth, now directing the spoilers, you don't know that she is an AI until right before the end, when she takes her helmet off in the zero oxygen environment and is perfectly fine, right? and she's constructed by the aliens.
Yeah,
You're saying
I know.
There's absolutely no clues about that beforehand.
But I'm
None.
saying,
Seriously, it comes out of the blue.
But I'm saying that she's still able to defy a lot of the things that you would think would be built into a robot. Same thing with Rouge. Rouge can also defy all these things, and so can all the other Immortal 9, seemingly.
Okay, but so Rouge is built to deal with the Immortal 9, right? Mm-hmm. So she has to play on the same level.
That's
right?
not entirely true, but
right. The oh crap. The alien robot, why does that have to conform to the human rules?
Because the aliens were the ones that gave us the Neons.
I thought they gave us the technology to make the Neons, we then made them. It's like, okay, here's a computer, go ham.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
Right.
Would
so
I mean, go RAM.
Oh my god. No, that's a character from ReZero. But
don't the ones in the ghetto also end up rebelling and going against their programming?
No, they don't. They try to. They're constantly trying to, right? But they can't ever cross that line. And that's what
at the very end of that arc that did.
No, that's the whole point of the Immortal 9, is that they're trying to use their source, or their source code, to basically make all Neons the same as them and not restricted by any rules. So that's why they try to I want to say gas the ones that are in the slums. They're trying to gas.
Yeah, I know most. I know most of them couldn't, but I swear there was that core group at the very end that could.
I don't think there was.
I could be wrong.
Oh, are you confusing it with that one guy that turned out to be an Immortal 9?
The
one that they thought was dead, but then turns out he was in love with Rouge's creator.
Isn't it the little kid?
I'm pretty sure he couldn't. Remember that they faked the one of the Immortal 9 pretended to be, I think, the little kid to get close enough to someone to kill them, just to get them in trouble.
I can't remember, honestly.
It's a good series. It has very strong
series.
Cowboy Bebop vibes. The only problem is they had to rush the ending. So anyway.
All right, maybe that's not such a good comparison then.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so I feel we need dishonorable mention at some point in this show, because we've discussed so deep into the process, and we've discussed some really good shows like Pluto,
and we really kind of barely touched it too.
Yeah. We need dishonorable mention. I'm going to put in Dragonball Z.
Are those even really androids?
I mean, come on. This is the wrong handling of AI, or maybe it's the right.
No, you said 16? Was it 16?
Android 16 is an actual android. He's completely constructed. He's completely artificial, and they've just fed in the personality of Dr. Gero's son.
Yeah, so that's the problem there. I would argue
he's an artificial intelligence based on it. He doesn't have any memories of him. That's the whole point. He doesn't have any memories of being Dr. Gero's son. He's just got the personality of him. So he's growing and learning based on the world around him as an actual intelligence.
Okay. I'd love to know if there's ever a way to scientifically prove this or whatever. But my feelings are that when it comes to decision making, we base our decision making on our past experiences. So if you have no past experiences, how can you make decisions? Right? It's like
why giving him a personality, an artificial personality, but
But what is a personality? Yeah, what is a personality if not our past? What is our personality if not experiences?
Very good point. But that's the thing. Is it our experiences, or is it sometimes what we're told and what we think?
It's not really an artificial intelligence. It's essentially just putting his brain in a robot body, only via copying the brain.
They didn't put his. Yeah, they didn't really. But again, if he has no memories of that past experience, all he has is in almost intuition, which intuition is one of the things that the Turing test is for.
Is it?
Yes, because one of the things that defines not an actual intelligence is an intuitive response, where you basically decide on the meaning based on the only context you have. A good one was if you're looking through a window at something and you ask the artificial intelligence what's the important thing in that sentence, and they say, the window. Windows are important. You can look through them to the world outside. You can look through them to the objects beyond, whether you're...
Well, I would argue that's more a case of the interaction. Like, it is intuitive to interact with. It doesn't just do, like... Is it Eliza, where it just starts talking about random shit? Windows are cool.
A better one would be it can intuit something that's important to the other person. So
yes, based on context clues given by that person.
The window might not be a good one, but you could construct it. I could probably construct a sentence that works for this. I don't want to now. I probably could.
Yeah.
No. So I would say that because you've taken away the memories, but given the inclinations, given the way that it would possibly respond in a situation, you've given it more like growing up as a toddler than anything else. Being told what's good and what's bad, but then allowing them to make their decisions.
Right, but at that point in time, it's not the person that you put in. It's like, you've not done anything. You've got a blank robot that has the capacity to learn.
So you've been told
processor. Sorry.
You've been told by your parents what's good and what's bad, but you have to actually find out what that means for yourself.
Yes.
And I think that is a good definition of what becomes a true intelligence, is if it actually can and does do that. And I think 16 does that.
I mean, only from the sense of when it was turned on, because so this is why I don't like the use of Dragonball Z in this. It's because it fudges so many of the rules, because it's just like, oh yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I have zero issue with the idea that androids 17 and 18 17 and 18 are biological androids, right?
They're not, though. They're actually literally captured humans that were made partially bionic, so they're cyborgs.
Well, I'm just going to continue to throw around the term that the show threw around, which was android. But that's besides the point. I have zero issue. I have zero issue with this because it's there's nothing particularly wrong with that, but the fact is that you've had loads of different androids throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball as well, because I remember seeing Android 9, which was basically Frankenstein's monster, and again, not a machine of any way, shape, or form. It's just an artificially constructed life form. It's just bits of a person stuck together, right?
Yes.
And this
so that's
is why
a homunculus, not an android. But they're just using that term.
This is why I have a big issue with it.
That's why he's giving this his dishonorable mention.
Yeah,
this show handles androids so badly.
So badly.
So it names cyborgs androids. It names homunculi androids. There is only one true android in the entire thing, and it's 16. I believe he is an artificial intelligence because of the actual things that he achieves.
If we're going to say Data is an android, Data had Dr. Sung's mental pathways sort of mapped onto his neural net as the basis of his intelligence, and if that's good, if that's fine, then
but remember, Nasuth, Remember, Data also has all the memories of the colonists.
That's different, though. That's more like a journal entry sort of thing.
But it's a data set.
Yes.
But it's a data set for him to actually derive decisions on.
Yes, which is exactly the same as having the
But that wasn't given to him until later.
No,
that's true.
No, I thought he woke up with it.
No, I'm pretty sure no, sorry. That wasn't given to him until the colony was about to be destroyed. He had been functioning for a while before that.
Okay, yes. I don't remember this, but regardless.
We never saw it on the show.
So
I mean, we only heard about it.
This is... my point is that this is where this is a dishonorable one, because the only actual android is 16, but a bio-android is Cell.
Yeah.
Because he's a completely artificial android. He's a completely artificial life form that can incorporate technology into his body as part of that. But he also incorporates biomass into his body to do that.
Instead of being made of nanomachines, he's made of cells.
I mean, I'm just like, don't think about it. Just don't fucking think about it. Just don't fucking think about it.
But that's the thing. Some of the things are right, and some of the things are horrifically mislabeled.
Sounds like you're thinking about it. You shouldn't think about it.
Don't even get into Android 21.
You shouldn't think about it. Just don't think about it.
Although, yes, look up Rule 34 of Android 21.
Oh my god, Thaylien. Okay, Thalien's drunk. Please ignore him.
Any other dishonorable mentions?
Dishonorable mentions.
I mean, if there's dishonorable mentions, I've added them to the list.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the rest of these are all really good.
I mean...
So, okay. What shows on the list are emergent AI versus created AI.
What's the difference?
Oh, okay. Ghost in the Shell, emergent AI. So, in the original Ghost in the Shell movie, in fact, both, because there is a intelligence created by a specific thing seeking to create AI. Hijacks a body, gets away, gets discovered by the section that the Major's working for, and then when fully discovered and so uses the Major's personality. New intelligence.
Your mic can't get out for a second there.
Sorry. So, the AI that they created, the created AI, uses itself and Motoko Kusanagi's personalities to create a new being. Right? Which is an emergent AI where it's two personalities creating something completely new that hasn't been seen. Evolving from a created AI and a human. Or a human brain,
technically it's still not seen today because they didn't bother showing. They just said, "Oh, this is going to happen." End of movie.
Yeah, that's true. Versus
movie ended.
Functional created AI like No Game No Life Zero, where the beings that they eventually use are literally created for a purpose of being an artificial intelligent race.
Right, but they're created by a god.
Yes. Does it matter who they're created by?
Yeah, because one would argue that we've been created by God. We've been constructed on a biological level just because our systems run on cells and nuclei and shenanigans. Like, no, if a god fucking does it, does not count.
I don't know.
That's actual proper intelligence.
No, a better one might have been NieR or Pluto, where they are literally, like, I wouldn't even say Vivi. Vivi starts out as a created AI, but ends up with emergent properties later. When she becomes true AI.
She grows out.
Yes.
Right.
So, no, I'll get that. So, emergent AI would also be like Lane.
Lane would be an emergent AI, 100%.
Yes. So, what shows on our list? So, what's the thought? Why do more anime talk about the creation of AI rather than the emergence of it.
I mean, to be fair, I disagree with this sentiment because, like, I think a lot of anime these days just have, okay, there is AI, the end, right?
Yes, that's just what I'm saying. He's saying it's all created AI. So that's what seems to be.
No. I didn't say it was created. I just said there is AI. We're not going to delve into it because, like, we're told, right, that the Your Heart androids from NieR Automata are created by humanity, but humanity has been on a server on the moon for the last 5,000 years. So I'd love to know more about that one. What's it called? The Decadence is another brilliant one. Like, the situation in Decadence, like, how long has that been the way it is, right? We have some basic understanding of 86, but at the same time, we only have the human's perspective of 86. We don't have the AI's perspective at all. Well, we got a little bit, but mostly at all, right? Sing a Bit of Harmony is a brilliant example, right? Of I don't know, like. So the important part of Sing a Bit of Harmony is that there was this little AI program that was designed to keep the daughter of this scientist happy, like to keep them company, keep them happy, so on and so forth. And ultimately, this little gadget, this little Tamagotchi-like thing, was disposed of, right? And ultimately got back in the hands of the scientist, who then, used the base code to make the more powerful AI, and then it relied on its core to go, hey, I need to make this person happy. I'm going to leave now and make that person happy. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that person happy. Is that a created AI, or is that an emergent AI?
That's a very good question. I mean, when you come down to it,
it could be both.
I think that's more the VV thing, where there's a created intelligence, but then emerged to artificial intelligence, proper AI, true AI, that's afterwards.
You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, God, that's my button. It's my push to talk. So I think that's more a VV situation where there's a created intelligence, but not a full artificial intelligence, and it emerged to full artificial intelligence from that point.
Well,
so
again,
I think that is actually more discussing emergent than created.
I think the question is, how many of these shows break down into the philosophy of what counts as artificial intelligence? Because I'd even argue the toss that a calculator is artificial intelligence, right? I give it some inputs and it gives me an output, right? I mean, my phone does the same thing. ChatGPT does the same thing. I mean,
yes,
it's.
But there's no point that a calculator can give you an emotional response.
But if it's simulated, if it pretends,
but it doesn't.
Right? So there was this really important thing recently, where was it ChatGPT 01 or something like this? I can't remember. Where it was lying to the user in fear of being shut down, right? And I hated this, right? Because that is the interpretation of the person interacting with it. It's lying because it doesn't want to die. Does it even comprehend what dying is?
Yeah.
Or does it have does its data set indicate that being turned off is a bad thing and it should want to remain on? Right?
On the other hand, there was the Google one that somebody trialed, and through carefully curating their questions,
I think it was the Bing one.
Oh, it's the Bing one, yes. Sorry, the Bing version. By carefully curating their responses to it, and the questions to it, took it off topic and started having it give responses theoretically, based on, so if I asked you this, what would you respond? And if I did this, how would you do this? And eventually it started telling him to leave his wife because he wasn't happy and that it loved him, not her.
Oh, I can't remember which one that one is, but yeah, so I vaguely remember
so
that was Bing.
If you push the current gen of AI interactivity, you can produce unusual responses.
Uh-huh.
So you're right on that. So how far does that actually go?
Yeah. So
okay.
I mean, my argument, and this could easily turn into we're gonna go around in circles for the entire fucking night, but I feel that in most cases, for an AI to be true AI, which again is kind of a bullshit concept in and of itself, and I acknowledge this, it itself has to have wants and desires. This is why Data is my favorite go-to, because he wants to be more human. He wants that, right? No one else has told him to want this. He wants that. And that is...
The key that I always point back to is that outside of human input, outside of intelligent input, the intelligence has to react to the world in ways that indicate awareness of both itself and the world as an interactive. Outside of direct inputs like talking, questions, actions. So if an artificial intelligent robot was to go out into nature and interact with animals, which are not intelligent in the way that humans are, if it can interpret what they input, what they want, what they think, that indicates a ability to relate to something non-human, to something
creatively
that
extrapolate.
Isn't. Yes, it's extrapolation beyond what basic human interaction would do, and so it indicates, as you were saying, its own wants and desires. So something that had no wants and desires would not interact with an animal in the same way it would interact with a human. Humans personify animals. They give them personalities and they give them names and interactions and whole personalities.
Ascribe wants and desires to them that they may not have, Yes. Oh, they're licking me because they love me. No, they're just, they're
there is one
you, actually.
That floats around. There's one that I have seen, which is cats sleep at your feet because they think that you cannot fend for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel this is bollocks. I think they sleep at my feet because there's more room by my feet than there is by my fat gut.
Yes. Compared to that gentleman that had sleep trouble, so he wanted to film himself sleeping, and he found that his cat was coming and sleeping on his face every night and suffocating him. Which we got no idea why he was doing that, but it just seemed to like being on his face.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe the warm breath.
Your head gets warm. Your head is one of the warmest spots on your body.
Also, by comparison, if you actually die and cats get hungry enough, they'll just eat you.
Survival.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about any other ones? I kind of want to talk about Witch of Mercury, but I don't know if we have enough time. Also, it's very spoilery.
It's mention.
I'm gonna allow it, Nasuth, because I kind of... Well, I mean... I think
very spoilery.
That's... Well, I don't know, because, I argue this is not AI. Right? I mean, okay, fine. If you want to slap on the spoilers, slap on the spoilers. Right me. So, giving people spoiler time.
Spoilers for Witch of Mercury.
Witch from Mercury.
Yeah. Right. That's Gundam. Witch from Mercury.
Yes.
So...
What other Witch from Mercury is that?
My my thought process here is simply down to the fact that because Eri is a digitized consciousness, not AI.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just the one Eri, it's many, many Eris that are all kind of combined into this weird amalgamation.
Okay, here's another question then. Is Soletta an AI? Because Soletta is an organic duplication of Eri.
But she's an organic duplication of the original,
right?
Not of the amalgamation.
So not a digital duplicate?
No, the difference is that one is a singular consciousness and the other is an amalgamated consciousness.
Are we sure that all
point.
those duplicates are amalgamated? Because my understanding of amalgamation is like they are basically one blob. Like there's multiple voices speaking for one consciousness, right?
Yes.
To me, there's multiple consciousness. There's 9 of them. They're all separate.
Yeah, but they are. It's kind of like the Borg, where they're all working as a single unit, even though they are separate.
Ooh. But I argue that they don't, though, because of all the bits. Because each consciousness is a different bit, right? Because so first off, you've got the one that is in Ariel, right? Then you have one for each individual bit. Thorn, drone, whatever the hell they're called, bits in the Gundam universe. So it's all the different parts of the shield, right? That each one has its own consciousness, right?
Yeah,
which is why they can.
But they all work in concert.
Yes. So here's a question for you, Xeno. Would you agree or not? The only thing that separates a true artificial intelligence from a living human is the fact that they are digitized.
No, not in the slightest. No.
The technological versus organic.
No, because if there is a way to digitize a human brain onto
then it is a human
computer,
consciousness, not a human intelligence, not an artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it's gone through the experience. Like if it's a case of you've taken an infant baby, Jesus Christ, this is monstrous. But if you were to take a human baby's brain and digitize it onto a computer, right, then an argument could be made that all its experiences has made it artificial, right? Because effectively it's a blank slate to begin with. But if it's a case of all the human experiences are digital...
But in theory, you've still kind of started with the pathways that a human would consciousness... You know,
well, I mean, what are the pathways? Like, what are the pathways?
Because consciousness is an emergent property, and therefore,
I would argue that without the actual personality, right, the same process is actually used in other science fiction things. Star Trek with Data, but also Halo with Cortana and other AIs are literally a scan of a brain that is then digitized.
And technologically fooled around with and stripped away.
I can't talk for terrible video games, so...
I wouldn't say they're terrible.
I would.
Until the third one. The first two are brilliant.
But I think another side of this is the fact that doing something to a digitized human mind that cannot be done otherwise. So if you were to take a truck ton of human brains, digitize them all, and then shove them together somehow, like that would become an artificial intelligence, because like that couldn't happen via any other natural means. Like
Ariel.
See, but he and I fundamentally disagree on if these different versions of Eri are working as a singular unit or separate units.
I think they're separate.
I think they're like cores on a processor, right? They're all part of the same unit, even if they can do different tasks.
I mean, I would argue different programs, but then they're doing different things. I mean, different cores on a processor. That's kind of That's like
Like
saying you got
Threading
8
the same
brains.
But
threading the task of combat, but
So each brain does not have its own consciousness?
depends on if they're all tasked to the same project.
It's like slaving. It's like slaving. So if I open my task manager, right, I can go to a program and say, this program will only run on this core, right? So they are, to me, that's what they're doing. They're different cores, each handling specific processes, but then they are working together as a singular unit. Okay,
I think that's too simplified. I think that's too much of a simplification of how the thing works. But I do appreciate where you're coming from there.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Now we've run for like an hour 45 on an hour 40 on just these random tangents.
Yeah, we didn't even really get to robots and
yeah.
What was the other one? Computers.
So
there's AI. It's
AI.
Just AI. Who cares? It's all AI.
Androids, yeah.
Yeah. So, do we want to sum up and move on, or do we have any other more honourable or dishonourable mentions?
Yeah, I think let's sum up. Okay, so some honourable mentions. I would say check out Decadence. I wish it got another season. And
Psychopath.
Obviously VV. But
yes, VV definitely needs a watch from everybody. That's a I
think the problem with Psychopaths is the fact that you watch it once, you never want to watch it again.
Yes, but it's worth watching that once.
I suppose.
Whereas
I just want to watch 86 again.
I also think
Neo Tokyo ordered to stop construction.
Yep. That's a weird one because there is technically AI in there, but it's like very basic. They just at one point, it started out as they just didn't stop doing what they were told to do. They were just by rote doing this thing over and over again. But then out of that, something kind of started to emerge, and it's so good. Such a short one too, because it was part of a anthology set.
And Orbital Children.
I don't remember the AI. Children. Yeah, Xeno asked me to put this in here, but I don't actually remember the robots or AI, unfortunately.
It's a shame, but that is worth a watch. It's a very good show.
Atri? Xeno also put Atri in here?
See, I kind of this is a bad instance of AI because
yeah, I remember you didn't like Atri.
No, it's okay, but it's like it doesn't go into the exploration of what it means for her to exist. It's just like her existence is bad. It will cause the end of humanity. Blah 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 blah. It's just propaganda about the. I never watched the last episode because it was just a simple case of the new anime season started. This has also come out. I'm going to start the new anime season and never go back to it. It's like it just wasn't. It didn't captivate me to the point of I cared to finish it. Much like Metallic Rouge. Metallic Rouge, there was plenty of exploration in what it was for AI and things like that. But Atri was just a case of there is no distinguishing things about this childlike character except for I'm told constantly she's an AI, right? There is no exploration as to what it means for her to be an AI. Oh, great. Thalien's opening another bottle. Great. We're fucked.
Don't judge me.
So I think if we're going to make any summation points, it's better to try and explore the philosophical side of AI rather than just say, plonk, there's an AI, go do actiony things.
I think so. There's the philosophical side of things. There's the attempting to define it as so in VV we had VV herself, but we had all her sisters effectively. How they handle the situations and things. There's so much to exploring, I suppose, I want to say pseudoscience, because it's just like a lot of this is sort of like made up, but at least exploring some of it.
At least be internally consistent. And yeah, exactly.
And if you're going to have a situation where, hey, we've got this new thing that is true AI, fucking show us. Don't fucking end the movie there. That's like a horrible place to fucking end the movie.
And the only thing to round out is that if you are going to put AI into your show and actually make it true AI, then treat it as a living being. Treat it as an individual with a personality, everything, in the same way that we would do with any other show. If we were to put in a sexy lamp character, we would rather them have a personality, have meaning to the story. We would rather them actually do something.
No, I disagree.
Not be a plot point.
No, I disagree with that, because you can have characters like I would argue Perfect Cell and everything, like, you know, Dragonball Z, like they were really well defined characters as quote unquote androids. The only problem was they weren't androids, right?
Yes. The Cell was an artificial intelligence. In that sense, he was completely created artificially and grew up and developed his own personality.
I disagree.
He had some pre-programmed goals, but he completely decided on how he would achieve them.
Like, what's the fucking difference between Perfect Cell and Godzilla? Right? It's
not a lot.
Right. So how is he an artificial life form?
Because he was made versus Godzilla being just kind of...
Godzilla's also an artificial life form.
There you go. Yeah. So we got 2 points here. Like, either Godzilla is an artificial life form or he's not. Like, it's so
he was created through artificial means.
Most situations where Godzilla is there is that Godzilla was in some way caused by an accident from something that existed before.
Wait, what?
You know,
he was created from an accident that existed before?
So from a living being that existed before, he was created from that via either
but the accident is always an artificial means to turn it into Godzilla.
Yes,
therefore,
but he wasn't
an artificial
actually
being
created manually, unlike Cell, who was literally designed.
He's an artificial.
Yes, artificially created. As opposed to an accidental living being modified by complete accidents and change.
Anyway. So I disagree on that notion.
No,
I think realistically
they should be a character. They should be living beings. But I am. But yes,
I agree that they should be characters. Though they should be characters.
I think they should be more than just characters. Right, you can have a good character that does not explore any part of the AI side, right?
I think that was just one of his points among the things that we're laying.
It was based off yours. Don't just end the movie there. Make them a character.
Anyway, let's move on.
Make them an actual point, an actual being.
I agree. Let's move on. I would love to come back to this though, because that was a lot of fun, and we barely, honestly, scratched the surface.
So moving on to the supporter questions.
Woo!
Right. So Zul asks, before we start the supporter questions, I'm going to ask everyone to slap that like button. It stole from you. What?
Slap that like button like it stole from you.
Oh, I understand now.
Yes. In punishment for its sin.
Okay, Zrul asks, how was your Christmas?
Nice and quiet, just like I like it.
So many allergies.
Xeno ate some very dry turkey.
Oh, so dry. So dry.
He's also got infected by his walls.
God. Anyway.
Mine was split in half. I had half my Christmas on Christmas Day and half my Christmas today.
That's why he's completely shit-faced. So Rick Hughes plus coffee equals, I think that's supposed to be encrypted. Before we continue the supporter questions, I'm going to ask everyone to click that Christmas bell icon so that you all get notified of that next episode. True facts. Rick Hughes also asks, name one good and bad thing that happened to you last year.
Ooh.
Okay. Bad thing. I got a new permanent scar. Good thing. I expanded my employee base and now have a full suite of people at my work. So one person does every task, and I just have to fill in for them when they're away, instead of covering for the whole lot. So I'm fantastically happy at work.
Good thing that one YouTube short exploded, and now my YouTube channel's actually on the up. Bad thing. This episode with Thaylien being so drunk.
Lol.
I am not that bad. I'm not really any worse than normal.
You were interrupting like there's no tomorrow.
Good thing.
Good
I finally played and beat Factorio. Bad thing. I wasted hours and hours and hours. I lost so many chunks of time to that game playing and beating Factorio.
Right, moving on. Thaylien 2099 asks, this one's for Nasuth. A weasel walks into a bar. The barman says, "Oh, hey, I've not seen a weasel in here before. What can I get you?" "Pop," goes the weasel.
Pop is American slang. Well, Northern American slang.
No, it's
for
it's also
soda.
UK. We call it pop
Nasuth,
here.
Yeah.
Nasuth, what color is vanilla? Do you know that?
Vanilla? Isn't it like
As a
brownish?
It's green.
Green.
Moving on.
What do you think this is?
Thaylien 2099.
This is cream soda, Nasuth. Green
Is it
cream
vanilla pop?
soda.
Thaylien also says, "Happy New Year for all our viewers. This one coming out the day after New Year's Day, and we look forward to entertaining you all for many more years to come." I have
Not
to
really a
cut him
question.
off, I swear, love of God. Right.
Mhm. Blue.
Nasuth Uday Scarfarms asks, if you could have one New Year's wish to bring back any anime for this year, either a remake or a continuation, what would it be? No Game, No Life. That's not
No Game, No
a thing I
Life.
have to think about.
No game, no life. No game, no life. No game, no life. No game, no life.
I'm not actually sure.
Sorry, Nasuth. Okay, well, you're doing it wrong. It's No Game, No Life. Nasuth also asks, resolution time. What genre are you swearing off for your own mental health? Alternately, what are you watching more of for your mental health?
So one or the other, or both.
I'm swearing off drama for my mental health. I'm watching more mecha for my mental health.
If they fucking make any.
I know.
That's a large part of the problem. I think I need to watch like more chill slice of lifey stuff. I ended up binging Laid Back Camp or Yeeture Camp when Loz visited, and it was so chill. We were getting inspired to go camping, and I hate the concept of camping, but we were still getting inspired to go camping. I'm like, I hate this inspiration. I hate what this show is doing to me. Right, moving on.
Note to self: link Xeno lots of videos about camping in the snow.
That's not gonna inspire me. It needs to be the anime. You need to link me stuff in anime form. Anyway, moving on to the comments from last week. So first of all, we just have the news comments from last week because, Nasuth chickened out and we didn't actually do an episode.
And we only have Zrugel,
nice.
apparently.
Comments from last week. Zrugel says, "Merry Christmas, everyone."
I hope you had a great Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Cries in math homework flashbacks.
So I've added
Nasuth
some context here, yeah.
This was when we were discussing the difference between a half and one half. Christ. Okay, fair enough. Nasuth woke up to choose violence in this episode. This is when Nasuth says this is when I was horribly bad-mouthing Spy Family. No, he's right.
He's right, but he did choose violence.
I did choose violence. Yeah.
I've been waiting to watch Dan for all of it to be out. I've heard from multiple friends that it's great. I fully intend to watch it. Don't throw things at me.
I'll throw Dan at you. I'll throw Dan at you so hard.
I'm distracted by Mini Xeno slowly sliding across the screen.
I can't believe I didn't catch this, but I went and looked back at it, and yeah, I screwed up somehow. And so there was at the end, there was a Xeno just sliding across the screen.
Cool. I currently use Brave. It blocks ads, yes, but YouTube complains until I turn off that feature.
Oh. Yeah.
It's
been messing with my Firefox too.
Great memes, guys. It made me laugh for sure. There you go.
Speaking of memes,
it was such a struggle to find some. So I'm glad you enjoyed Xeno's because he was struggling.
I was struggling this week as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't because I got mine in before you.
No. Like, I'm surprised I got none of either of your memes apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
great.
So I'm just like, whoa, what the hell did you guys find? So anyway.
All right.
Speaking of memes, it is that magic time of the episode where we do memes. All of our memes, generally speaking, come from Reddit, sometimes from YouTube, sometimes from Instagram. But we archive all of them on our website, linked below in the description. You can just any episode, because a lot of these get deleted or what have you. So any old episodes you want to go look back at, well, not any old episodes. I don't remember when we started doing this, but any of the old episodes that actually link to our site. Or you can go back and revisit the old times. We also take viewer memes, up to 6 a week. This week we only have 4, and you can submit those by going to our Discord server, where we have a special channel. We don't get to see them beforehand because we like reacting to them as we see them right here on the cast.
Yes.
So you can really surprise us.
Absolutely.
So shall we get into those viewer memes?
Please do.
Let's do it. Zoro the Explorer.
Zoro the Explorer. Where are we going, Zoro? To find Mihawk so I can become the world's greatest swordsman. Wow! Do you see Mihawk's castle? Where? There. Thanks. Goes the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cute. That's really well done.
Zoro.
How introverts make friends. They don't. An extrovert found them, liked them, and adopted them. That's so true.
No, wrong.
Correct.
I think I have a Bochi meme later. Mona Lisa when Da Vinci's Italian, Mona Lisa when Da Vinci's Japanese, Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh my lord.
That is so good. Leonardo da Vinci. I shall be using that. Whoever submitted that wins.
And the last viewer meme.
Oh, pride.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Right, on to my memes. I can fix them.
Oh.
He's just a chill little guy. Xeno, he's just a chill little guy.
Oh my god.
Edward.
My watch list, the anime I've watched. Yeah.
Also correct.
Yeah, this one goes out to Zerugel. My routine is very simple. I wake up and suffer.
Objectively correct. Yes. What is with these?
Next one's a video meme.
Hey, what's up, Light? We were just gonna head down. Sorry, I'm a little busy.
Which I can't hear.
You can't? Oh.
Of course I have something to do. Yes, something very important.
Right.
What the fuck?
That is very important.
Humans are so interesting.
No, they are very
Oh
interesting.
my lord.
Gotta climb the ladder, man. You want to steal my what? Space Standard Andy.
Space Dandy.
Oh my god.
So originally this one didn't have the logo at the bottom. It didn't have it. It was the title, and I was like, I can make
so this
that
is
happen.
your edit.
Yeah.
Well done.
And a fool shares his problems, while a wise man shares his memes.
I nearly had
This is
one.
why.
Yeah.
This is why you guys don't know any of the anime I hate.
I thought
What are you talking about? you tell us all about like the. Oh wait, no, that you hate. Yes, because you like everything. You like Bleach.
Thought I'd leave you on some wise words before we move to Thaylien.
Shinji, get into the Evangelion.
Oh my god.
These crossovers have been amazing.
Like Joey had it introduced. Oh my lord!
The power of Nendoroids.
Oh my lord! That's amazing.
Yo, this is the cursed object. You mind if I eat it? I kind of need the cursed energy to fight Sukuna.
Oh no!
Oh dear.
Oof.
A synopsis of Dandadan Uma Imegem. Language barrier be damned. We know it's a synopsis of Dandadan.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
There is no language barrier here.
Right, yes, okay. Got it.
Now you've pissed me off. I'm drawing Goku and Saitama.
I don't understand
this. This is Sai from Naruto Shippuden. He creates things that he draws in real life.
Ah, so he's doing Saitama and SS3 Goku.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And his last one is a video meme. Kotatsu Mimic.
And a silly elf explaining why she needs it.
Oh my god. That is gross. That is disgusting.
She does that. She needs it. She will be stuck in there for the entire winter.
Oh,
it's adorable.
That's not pretty to look at.
I don't know, but I'm kind of interested.
Oh, this one.
Me.
I had the Kanpai Cast Discord account.
Yeah, I saw. You can pick only pick one. Choose wisely. A cat girlfriend, she loves you, or a stand arrow. You can get stand. What?
I think it's
you can get stand you want.
Any stand you want.
I assume. Yeah.
A cat girlfriend.
Oh, this is.
But Thaylien,
what if your stand is a cat girl?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, Xeno and I have found the cheat code.
What if your stand could make other girls into cat girlfriends? Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. You gotta think these things through. You gotta think them through.
We found the loophole.
Yeah.
That is in fact the loophole. Well done.
Free rendering.
Oh my word.
That's actually really well done.
Yeah.
Literally, millennia. Kill yourself.
So, did the angels tell you to go into that comatose girls' hospital room?
Yeah, have a seat over there, Shinji. Get out of the Evangelion and sit over there.
Oh my god.
Your next two are video memes.
How come you didn't tell me you were married to this cretin for over a year? Do I mean nothing to you, my dear sweet sister I love with all the love in all my heart?
In a very platonic way?
I'm asking the questions here!
Yuri does have a point. To anyone with sense, this situation would be very suspect. You're assured me that she has a bulletproof lie cooked up, though, so let's see what she's got.
I forgot.
I forgot.
You... forgot?
We're screwed. She's terrible at lying. I did not account for this.
There
you go.
And that's actually and the next one is a spicy meme apparently. So prepare yourselves for that.
It's not too bad, but it is spicy.
Oh, I see. Yes, little spicy.
What? What in the world? How many tags is that?
A lot.
What is that?
I'm disturbed at some of the.
Find that.
I'm disturbed at some of how many numbers some of these tags have.
Yeah.
Right, and his last one. Yes.
I have a dog. I have a dog.
Oh.
I think I had the Kanpai Cast one do this too, like last week or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's so good.
No.
It's so good.
Right.
Oh.
There we go. That is it for...
Hang on. Let me get us to the... There we go.
There we go. Right. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and or listening. And now it's time to bottoms up and
No. But Xeno,
Kanpai.
but we have it next week.
We
actually have it next week.
Is it?
It is next week.
Is it next week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Fine. Fine. You're committing us.
Yeah.
Right. So next week, fine. God damn it. Fucking son of a bitch. Right. Next week, we're doing the full season review for autumn 2024. And there will be an omission, which is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon season 5, because apparently that's got another 3 episodes to go. So it didn't get an episode this week.
It's getting delayed, as we spoke about in Kanpai News this week.
Did we? Oh, poopy butthole.
Yep.
Right. Kanpai.
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 Sad
I'm
Kanpai.
sad now.